Rome was the loudest empire in history. Victories were celebrated in arenas, defeats were written in blood, and kings wore crowns forged by the sword. But one man, he did not choose the arena, he did not worship power, he did not fight for his crown. That man sought peace in war, wisdom in power, and humanity on the throne. At just 17, he was being prepared for the most powerful position in the world. Yet he knelt not in palaces, but among books, mastering himself before mastering an empire. Rome was given his future, but he shaped it by conquering his own mind first. He was Marcus Aurelius, a ruler without equal, not a philosopher king, but a philosopher forced to become king. This video will last 2 hours, but it carries 2,000 years of life lessons. If you've ever felt that, your mind controls you instead of the other way around, your anger speaks louder than your reason, life treats you unfairly, leadership is nothing more than dominance, then this story might become your turning point. So, light the candle now, because this is not the tale of a man who conquered lands, but of an emperor who conquered himself. In frozen camps beside the Danube, in a general's tent, writing by candlelight. And remember, this is not a documentary, this is a wake-up call. Marcus Aurelius was born in Rome in AD 121, into the aristocratic family of Annius Verus. After his father died at a young age, Marcus was raised by his grandfather and his mother, Domitia Lucilla. His family was politically influential, wealthy, and respected. Yet it was not privilege that shaped young Marcus. It was his early exposure to authority and his hunger for wisdom. Emperor Hadrian, a ruler known for his ability to read the future of Rome, noticed something unusual in Marcus while he was still a child. Calm-tempered, self-controlled, eager to learn, and free of arrogance. Because of this, when Hadrian adopted his successor, Antoninus Pius, he made one demand: "You will also adopt Marcus Aurelius. Rome's future lies in him." And so, in AD 138, Marcus officially became part of the imperial family, an heir trained not to crave the throne, but to carry its burden with discipline and moral preparation. His education was the most comprehensive of his era. He studied rhetoric, law, the Greek language, logic, military strategy, and the principles of state governance. But what set him apart from every other emperor was his devotion to Stoic philosophy. The Stoic thinker Junius Rusticus taught him the most important craft of all, the art of mastering oneself. To Marcus, Stoicism was not merely a philosophy, it was a way of life, a discipline meant to be practiced, not admired. He advanced in Greek to the point of speaking it like a native, and he read Plato, Epictetus, and Stoic moral teachings directly from their original texts. Other key mentors who shaped his intellectual world included Apollonius of Chalcedon, Sextus of Chaeronea, and the famed orator Fronto. Fronto refined his speech, but the Stoics refined his soul, teaching him that it is not eloquence that rules an empire, it's character. In AD 161, when Antoninus Pius died, the Senate proclaimed Marcus emperor. Marcus then made a choice unlike any ruler before him. He refused to reign alone. Instead, he decided to rule Rome alongside Lucius Verus as co-emperor. This became one of history's greatest examples of a leader viewing power not as something to be owned, but as something to be shared for the good of the empire. While Verus took command of the Eastern Front, Marcus assumed control of Rome's internal governance and the defense of the northern borders. War soon broke out in the east against the Parthian Empire, which was pressuring Roman control in the provinces of Syria and Armenia. Under the heavy influence of Marcus's strategic guidance, Lucius Verus achieved significant victories, advancing into Armenia and deep into Mesopotamia. Roman forces eventually sacked the Parthian capital, Ctesiphon. Yet the triumph carried back something far more destructive than spoils of war. The returning legions unknowingly brought a deadly plague into the heart of Rome, an epidemic that would go down in history as the Antonine Plague. The outbreak, which lasted from AD 165 to 180, became one of the most devastating catastrophes in Roman history. It is believed by historians to have been either smallpox or measles. Between 10% and 20% of the empire's population perished. Millions of people, with death tolls climbing even higher in certain cities and military camps. The Roman army was crippled. Some legions lost nearly 1/3 of their soldiers. The empire's economic foundation collapsed. Farmers died, agriculture failed, taxes could not be collected, and weakened borders invited instability and rebellion. Marcus Aurelius was not an emperor who led from comfort or spectacle. He did not sit in palaces issuing commands from a throne of gold. He ruled through sacrifice. To prevent famine, he opened the imperial treasury and ordered auctions of palace furniture, statues, golden decorations, and even imperial jewels, selling the empire's luxuries to feed its people. Rebuilding the army proved even more difficult. The plague had drained the population, leaving too few men to recruit. So Marcus made another radical decision. He enlisted gladiators, slaves, and even prisoners into the Roman military. But he did not simply arm them. He trained them, disciplined them, and reshaped them, offering freedom to those who served with loyalty, turning outcasts into soldiers who would fight not for survival, but for Rome itself. This move reflected both the empire's desperation and Marcus's uniquely pragmatic yet deeply human leadership, a ruler who forged unity when Rome needed it most. As the plague ravaged the empire, the northern Germanic tribes crossed the Danube frontier. The Marcomanni, Quadi, and Sarmatians launched attacks against Rome. This era became the moment Marcus Aurelius built his true legacy, not in palaces, but on the front lines. He spent years in military camps along the Danube, including Vindobona, modern-day Vienna, Carnuntum, and Sirmium. For the first time in Roman history, an emperor commanded his armies from a general's tent, rather than a marble throne. At dawn, he drafted battle strategies. At night, by candlelight, he wrote a book to discipline his own mind, Meditations. This was never written for the public, the Senate, or history itself. It was a stoic inner reckoning, written by Marcus to govern the one realm he believed must be conquered first, his own mind. Throughout its pages, he reminded himself of core truths. Do not resent human flaws. You are human too. Do not grieve over what you cannot control. Grief is a choice of the mind. Death is not something to fear, but a law of nature. Virtue is not chosen for applause, but because it is right. The Northern Wars lasted for years. Marcus led both defensive and counteroffensive campaigns against the Marcomanni and Quadi. He pushed back tribes that had marched into Roman lands by crossing the frozen Danube itself. In these conflicts, Marcus wielded not only the sword, but diplomacy. He sat at negotiation tables with tribal leaders, granting forgiveness when it served Rome, enforcing discipline when it protected it. He even envisioned incorporating the Marcomanni into the empire under a federated client-state status. The plan remained unfinished due to his death, but it marked the first time in history an emperor seriously considered integrating tribes instead of annihilating them. Beyond the battlefield, Marcus also reshaped Rome from within. He reformed the judicial system, making it harder for the wealthy to purchase favorable verdicts. He expanded protections for slaves, introducing laws that limited arbitrary violence by slave owners. He revived the alimenta welfare system, establishing state funds for orphans and impoverished children. He strengthened inheritance rights for women and minors. He monitored the Senate and provincial governors to reinforce public morality, and he improved intelligence and financial reporting systems to curb corruption. Marcus was stoic, but not detached from life. His rule was not harsh, but consistent. Not soft, but disciplined. Compassionate, yet unwavering in duty. In AD 169, his co-emperor Lucius Verus died. Marcus Aurelius was now the most powerful man in Rome. But to him, power was never a reward, it was a burden. And he carried more than the weight of empire. He carried loss. With his wife Faustina the Younger, he had 13 children, most of whom died young. Yet grief did not harden him into anger. It forged him deeper into Stoicism. His philosophy was tested not only in war, but in fatherhood. He declared his son Commodus heir to the throne, one of history's greatest ironies, because Commodus would inherit not his father's wisdom, but Rome's spectacle. He would become an emperor who fought in arenas as a gladiator, surrendered to palace intrigue, and rejected Stoic balance. For this reason, Marcus's reign is remembered as the end of Rome's golden age. Marcus Aurelius died in AD 180, once again on the Danube frontier, in Vindobona, beside his army. His final words are believed to have been, "Do not weep for me. I am only answering the call of nature." He died not in a palace, but among his soldiers. He was remembered not for his power, but for his character. He was not an emperor who ruled Rome. He was an emperor who ruled himself, and by doing so, ruled Rome. There were many emperors in history. Augustus built Rome, Trajan expanded it, Caesar conquered for it. But Marcus Aurelius conquered his empire first in his own mind. This is why he is called the Philosopher King, because he defined strength by the sword, wisdom by the will, and kingship by duty. His legacy today does not live in border stones, but in minds. He is remembered as the greatest practitioner of Stoicism, the man who redefined the moral meaning of leadership, a ruler who rose above the noise of history, not through volume, but through quiet mastery, steady virtue, and disciplined compassion. Power is tested in crisis, and Marcus's power lay in his ability to turn crisis into virtue. In AD 169, his co-emperor Lucius Verus died. Marcus Aurelius was now the most powerful man in Rome, but to him power was never a reward, it was a burden, and he carried more than the weight of empire. He carried loss. With his wife Faustina the Younger, he had 13 children, most of whom died young. Yet grief did not harden him into anger. It forged him deeper into Stoicism. His philosophy was tested not only in war, but in fatherhood. He declared his son Commodus heir to the throne, one of history's greatest ironies, because Commodus would inherit not his father's wisdom, but Rome's spectacle. He would become an emperor who fought in arenas as a gladiator, surrendered to palace intrigue, and rejected Stoic balance. For this reason, Marcus's reign is remembered as the end of Rome's golden age. Rome gave Marcus an empire. Marcus gave Rome something greater, not an emperor, but the answer to a timeless question: how should a human rule? Today, the lands Marcus conquered no longer exist on the map. The echoes of his wars no longer shake the world. And the crown he wore is not displayed in a museum, but there is one realm he conquered, a realm seized by him and never reclaimed by anyone since: the human mind. Because he taught us this: power is not defeating others. Power is defeating yourself. Virtue is not chosen for applause. It is chosen because it is right. Leadership is not giving orders. It is carrying responsibility. And death is not an ending. It is a signature sealed by nature itself. If these 2 hours changed you, then you transform, but we all rise with you. Now it's your turn. If this story gave you strength, subscribe. If it made you think, leave a comment. If it can awaken another mind, share it. Because once there was an emperor, and perhaps someday the philosopher will be you. I've done my duty. Now you build your empire. Veil. Let virtue be your crown.